The Chicago Bulls take a bad loss to the Atlanta Hawks. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's loss. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today, the Chicago Bulls get beat by the Atlanta Hawks 110-94. And this was a terrible loss for the Chicago Bulls because the Atlanta Hawks were missing several key starters in tonight's game, and they came out and really crushed the Chicago Bulls. I think that the Atlanta Hawks came out with a lot more energy as they led in second chance points. And also, too, they capitalized on a lot of Chicago Bulls mistakes as far as the turnovers are concerned. We really didn't have very many standouts in this one, so this was just a really bad game. And so let's go ahead and look into the box score and look at the key takeaways from tonight's game. And so I always start with, really the MVPs and the best performances from our team. For me, I would have to start with Modest Buzelis. I think that he's certainly the big winner out of tonight's game. Look, even though he just had 8 points and it was 17 minutes of play, which is a good thing, but he had the 3 blocks. And so defensively, this is something that this team has really struggled with. And once again, Modest Buzelis, the rookie, continues to give you something that you need, which is rim protection, or at least help you defensively. So that suggests that we probably should play him some more. And so, look, even though Modest Buzelis doesn't have a lot of scores in today's game, and it wasn't like anything where it's like it hit his season high or anything like that, but still, 8 points, he had the 5 rebounds, he had the 3 blocks, like he was doing stuff. He was active out there today. He was 4 of 8 from the field. He was 1 of 3 from 3. And so I did like what I saw from Modest Buzelis. And so I definitely think that he would be an MVP for us. And also, too, Julian Phillips. I think that Julian Phillips came in, he provided the scoring necessary. And I think that I loved his athletic plays, the dunks, and just getting out in transition and everything like that. So 10 points, he had 4 rebounds today. I think that he was definitely a bright spot for the Chicago Bulls. And so aside from that, when we look at just the starters, I think that you see that there's a lot of starters that were in the negative as far as the plus minus box score. And I think that the story there is you see that the turnovers across the board for the starters, like that was not good. If we do look at some of the production here, let's start with Vooch. Look, he had a double-double. He is a double-double machine for sure. He had the 14 points, 16 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He was -3 in the plus-minus box score. He was 6 of 14 from the field, 0 of 3 from downtown. Did have some silly turnovers, but you do have to give Vooch his credit because he does go out there and give you the double-double. With Zach Lavine, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. He filled up the stat sheet. He was 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from downtown. But once again, he struggled much like the rest of the starters here. Josh Giddey really couldn't get it going from a scoring standpoint. Also, too, assist-wise, you do see that he did have the 10 rebounds, but he's also -20 there in the plus-minus box score. Patrick Williams knocking down some three-point shots finally, so that was good to see because it's really been a struggle for him over the last couple of games, and he's also been finishing in single digits, and so he did get to 10 points today. But aside from that, the rebounding totals only 2 in that regards, and so you want to see some more there. Did shoot 2 of 3 from downtown, 4 of 8 from the field, but still want to see some more from Patrick Williams. Coby White, look, I think that he did a good job as far as getting to, I think, the free throw line yet again. It is a good sign to see that Coby White is still trying to get downhill, and that's a great sign. So we do see Coby White. He has the 16 points, the 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He was -12 out there today. And one more bright spot, too, for the Chicago Bulls, and I forgot to mention this, but with Ayo Dosunmu. And so it was good to see that he came back. He played 25 minutes in this game. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And so certainly we know that we need him on the floor for his added defense, but it was great to see that Ayo has come back and was able to play after missing some extended time with the calf injury. And so I definitely think that going back, he was an MVP just for being able to play tonight. But aside from that, we didn't get very much from the bench. I think that THT had like kind of a tough fall there. Looked pretty bad when you see it. It looks like he kind of maybe overextended himself, but he didn't have too much of an impact as far as scoring is concerned. With Jalen Smith tonight, just 5 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist, so not his best effort. He was 2 of 6 from the field. Dalen Terry, the turnovers there, man, he was negative in the plus-minus box score, so it just really wasn't a good game for him as well. And then when you look at the box score for Atlanta, you're going to see some names that really you just rarely see. And so you have to give them credit for coming in. They showed up. They definitely, didn't play down to the situation because they obviously could have packed it in, with a lot of their starters not being there. But they came out with the right energy and they just simply took it to the Chicago Bulls. And so next up, let's go ahead and jump into the team box score. Looking at some of the key takeaways in that. And so, look, the Chicago Bulls did lead in rebounding 53-51. But again, the Atlanta Hawks had a ton of offensive rebounds in this game. And so they were able to capitalize off of that. The turnovers, I talked about this at the start, but 20 turnovers for the Chicago Bulls tonight and to the Atlanta Hawks 11. And they had 22 points off of those turnovers alone. So that was just inexcusable for the Chicago Bulls. And a lot of these turnovers were just, they were ridiculous. And so next up, the fast breaks. And so 24-16 with the fast breaks. And so you see that the Bulls were out and able to get some runs. And that was kind of, it tied into where the Bulls were able to get back into the game at one point in time, but just never really got over the hill and turned the corner in this game to take control of it. But that was one of the reasons why I think that they were able to kind of stay in this thing. They also outscored the Hawks 62-52 in the paint, so they did their job there. Next up, as far as the steals are concerned, the Hawks, look, they got the Chicago Bulls to turn it over pretty much all night, 11-5 there. As far as the block shot totals, you see that it's a tie at 5-5. And then with the field goal percentage, look, you see that we shoot 44.3% from the field, but look at the three-point percentage. That was just terrible, 22.2 for us tonight. Not like Atlanta shot any better or too much better, 30.2% from three. They shot 41% from the field. As far as the free throws are concerned and how that went down, you see that the Hawks, they went to the line 22 times. They were 15 of 22. The Chicago Bulls did make all of their free throws, 10 of 10, and talked about how Kobe was able to get to the line there, much like he did the night before, so he continues to get to the line. And then when you look at just the second chance points, I've talked about this, 27-10, Atlanta wins in that category. And so, look, this is a tough loss for the Chicago Bulls. Only had 23 assists tonight. It was just a very bad effort. And I know that, teams have games like this throughout the season, but this was bad. All right. And so there's so many things that you wonder about with this loss, because I talked about Modest and just really how he was a bright spot. And even though he was negative 18 in the plus minus box score, I get it. But it was just the activity and the way that he kind of went about his business today. It's like you love that. And so, with the way that things are going with the team and everything else, you have to wonder, like, at some point, when do the Chicago Bulls start to prioritize a player like Modest Buzelis? When do you start to prioritize some of your other younger players out there, especially if, things continue to maybe trend the way that they are as far as the trade market and it being quiet or whatever the case may be. At some point, the Chicago Bulls are going to have to try to figure out what they have in order to keep building. And so let me know in the comments what you think about this loss. What do you think as far as Billy Donovan and maybe, him having to seriously look and start to play some of this younger talent and seriously think about prioritizing the player development to go along with this winning, as they say. And so, anyway, I want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, and really sharing the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest. We try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season out there. So make sure you mash on that subscribe button. Want to let you know about 66.3% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and slam dunk on that subscribe button for us. And so, look, this was an ugly loss. This is what we're talking about with this team. They can get locked in on some of these teams like, New York. We've seen them do it with Boston or whatnot. But these last couple games are very winnable games that the Chicago Bulls, they should have won. And you do have to give credit to the Pelicans and the Hawks. I totally understand that. Look, these guys are professional basketball players too. And so I get it. But this is where it's like, look, you're showing us signs in other games, but then these games, these are the games that you wonder what exactly are the Chicago Bulls doing? What is the direction? What are we doing here? So anyway, let me know in the comments. And even though that this was a frustrating loss, I'm still saying go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.